Good morning, good morning. How are you this morning? My name is Reggie. Welcome to God's Marriage Foundation, where we get to discuss about relationships, about marriages, and the reason as to why we want to rescue our marriages according to God's divine plan. Karibu sana. If you're here for the first time, welcome to our club. And if you're not here for the first time, thank you so much for showing up once again. Today I want us to talk about when God is at the center, no marriage is beyond any repair. And why are we talking about our marriages? It's just because the enemy is at the verge of killing the family, because he knows the family starts at the marriage union. So the moment he destroys the marriage, then he has power now to come and to kill everything that God had prepared for his people. Let us discuss our first point. Why does this matter? Look around you and see how marriages are under attack. Divorces, killings, family homes are breaking up, infidelity. The enemy has found so many things to bring into our home so that the marriage union, the marriage unity will not work. But in Psalms 127 verse 1 says, unless God builds the house, those that build it, they labor in vain. So it is the foundation that God wants for us to build when we are building our homes, so that He can be the foundation. Because every time that we build a home without God being the founder, then that home is bound to fail. The enemy wants to divide and conquer, but God wants to restore and God wants to strengthen. So that is why we stand firm, and that is why we want to fight for our marriages, not in our own strength, but through God's strength. Peace, God's wisdom, patience, and love. That is what we need for us to stand and for our marriages to stand. How do we fight for our marriages? That is the big question that we should be asking ourselves. How are we going to fight for our marriages? And there are three ways that we can fight for our marriages. And the first one is prayer and spiritual warfare. Every time that the enemy attacks you, your family, your marriage, you're supposed to come down into prayer and spiritual warfare. Some of these fights are spiritual. So there are fights that you cannot do them without getting into prayer. And these are spiritual matters. And pray, you and your spouse. There are fights that you have to sit down, you and your spouse, and pray about them. Invite God in every battle. Remember, the word tells us that our battles are not ours. Our battles belong to God. So every time that you're facing a battle in your marriage, invite God, because there are some battles that you will not fight on your own. The second one is godly communication. Most of the families right now, we are not communicating. And if we are communicating in the wrong way. We are giving out information in the wrong way. We are not respecting one another. And every time there's no respect, then the communication is bound to fail. Words can build and words can break. Speak with love, speak with patience and wisdom. Because the Bible tells us that the tongue has power to bless, and the tongue also has power to kill. So every time you speak, there are words that you can speak to your partner, to your child, to your husband, that can kill that marriage or that can build that marriage. So let us be careful the way we communicate, the way we speak, because words have power. And the third one is commitment to God's purpose. Marriage is not just about happiness. It's not just happiness. It's not just about can we stay. It is about holiness. And God uses our marriages just to shape our character. Yes, when we fight our marriages with God, we build a legacy that the enemy cannot destroy. But if only the foundation is God's, then we'll build a legacy that even when the enemy tries to come to destroy, he cannot manage, because we build our foundation with God. So this is my advice even to people who are coming into marriage. Make God your foundation. Because as we've seen earlier, if the house is not built by Christ, if the foundation was not built by Christ, then that marriage, that home is bound to fail. And as I close my closing action remarks, let us start this journey together. Let us know that the enemy is in the verge of killing our homes, killing our marriages. And remember, God brought Adam. God created Adam, and he saw that Adam could not stay alone. So he created Eve. And when he let them go out from the Garden of Eden, he told them, go multiply and fill the world. Now the enemy is very cunning. He knows that when he will distract us, when we will stand out from the plan of God, which was to go and multiply and fill the world, then he will have a room to enter and to destroy our homes. So right now, he doesn't want families to stand. He doesn't want marriages to stand. He wants women to start going out with women, men to start going out with men, and that was not the plan of God. The plan of God was for Adam and for Eve to come together so that they could multiply and fill the world. So let us start this journey together. And if this message blesses you, don't keep it to yourself. It is for the purpose of God's glory, so that we may go back there, we may go to the plan of God the way he wanted it just from the start, and that we can bring our families back together. We can bring reconciliation in our homes, because even the word tells us, where there is no unity, where there is no love, then God cannot command a blessing. So that is one of the destruction that the enemy is using, so that there is no unity, there is no love, we don't communicate, and with that we cannot even tap the blessings of God. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. And this channel, we will be discussing more on faith-based marriage. We'll be sharing content that will help us to grow our marriages, to strengthen our marriages, and even to restore that relationship where it had failed. Thank you so much for your time. I hope that this video changes your marriage. I hope that this video helps you just to know that God is in the business of blessing your marriage. God is in the business of wanting your marriage to work. But any thought that comes to you that this marriage cannot work, that this marriage it cannot go anywhere, that is the thought of the enemy. He will always bring thoughts to you to show you that you're not worthy to be in this marriage, to show you that, but every time that thought comes, just remember the first love. Because one thing that I know, there was a time you used to love that man, there was a time you used to love that woman. What changed? That right now you don't see the worth of that woman, you don't see the worth of that man. It is just the plans of the enemy, because he sees the good plans that God has for you. The word tells us that God has good plans for us, good plans to give us a hope and a future. But because the enemy sees our future, he doesn't want us to get to the good plans that God has for us. So let us work together. Let us restore our marriages by God's will, and let us stay put and be sensitive in the spirit, because some of these battles, they're spiritual, and we cannot fight them just by not praying. We have to pray, we have to go back to Christ and tell him to help us, because as we have seen, the battles are not ours, the battles are God's. So thank you very much. Praying for you, and asking God to help us as we restore our marriages. Thank you and have a beautiful day. Bye.